Hello, my beautiful, beautiful friends. How are you? What is up? Happy Friday. We made it through another week. Welcome back if you've been here before. It is so good to see you again if you haven't been here before. My name is Steph. How are you? I'm so happy that you have chosen to hang out with us today. Today, we are going to be chatting about 7 things that I wish I knew before I started my spiritual journey, because I think that a lot of us, when we choose to take the steps forward to better ourselves and work on ourselves and discuss where we could grow and where we could change and where we could see where we can get better and rise to another level of consciousness. When we start to make those big decisions, it's like, damn, like, where do I start? What do I do? What is this gonna be like? Everyone's talking about spirituality, everybody's talking about manifesting, everybody's talking about tarot and reality shifting and all this stuff. Like, what the heck? Where do I start? I'm just going to tell you a couple things that I started to internalize and the downloads that I received when I started. So let's jump right on into it. And the first one is going to be that it is not linear by any means. So you can't start a spiritual journey or restart a spiritual journey or pick back up on a spiritual journey and think that you will be exactly where you were when you first started, or it's going to be easy. It's a very intense journey. You're going on a journey, and it's not about where you end up and the person you are at the end. It is everything you learn in between. The journey there is really what's important to bring you into alignment with your truest purpose. And I think that when I started, I'm gonna be completely honest, when I chose to take the plunge into my spiritual journey, I was like, I need to get better and work on my trauma so I can fall in love, make a lot of money, be happy in my life. I'm not going to have any problems. When I deal with my stuff, life is going to be great. And I want to say that it has gotten a lot better, and I'm very grateful for where I am in my journey. But like, it has not been sunshine and rainbows by any means. I'm very grateful that I have been experiencing so much and I've been going through so much, and I've been really awakening to what I can handle and knowing how strong I am. So that has been something where it's taught me that regardless of what I'm going through, I'm always going to come out on top, and it might seem scary and it might seem dark, but it's all going to be okay. And number 2 kind of ties into that loneliness is both great and discouraging. So we are, as humans, very social beings. We love being together, we love connecting, we love feeling included. And so when we feel lonely, it's not a great feeling. We don't enjoy it by any means. But when you are alone, you have to sit with yourself. And so Corona and the pandemic made a lot of us slow down for the first time in what felt like forever. And we had to sit with ourselves and be like, what am I doing? Where is my life going? What do I actually want? What is my purpose, right? And a lot of us have been searching for our purpose lately. And it's so easy to really get discouraged by the fact that, like, we're alone. And your spiritual journey is a very isolating time because you're sitting with yourself, you're going through these motions, you're going through your trauma, you're seeing what you need to do in order to heal and evolve and become the best version of yourself. But at the same time, it's just you. No one else can go down that path but you. And yes, you can have people supporting you if you're lucky and caring about you and encouraging you. But at the end of the day, it really is just you. And you need to be like, you know what, it's okay. I got this. And so really being alone and cultivating that self-awareness was one of the greatest things that happened to me in 2020. But it was also some of the loneliest, darkest times of my life. And it's something that my friends don't even know about, my family doesn't even know about, because I truly took that path alone. And I personally really do believe in generational trauma and ancestral trauma, and I wanted to heal that and really break those cycles for myself and to bring myself into a place in which I felt like I was moving forward and I was excited about life. And to go down those paths, that was a path that I didn't feel like I would feel comfortable being supported by the people I loved, even if that meant I had to do it alone. I sat down with myself and I said, hey, this is just you. Like, you have to walk this path alone, because I need to be able to sit with myself and be with myself and acknowledge myself in the good and acknowledge myself in the bad. And if I have outside opinions in that, it's not going to be the same as if it's just me in my room with my journal or talking to my angels and my guides. Regardless of what it is, it was something that I needed to do alone. So let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is heightened self-awareness. So on our spiritual journey, we are sitting in a place in which we have every right to take things slow, to take the easy way. As a human, we have multiple paths in life, and we have every right to try to make things as easy for ourselves as possible. And as a result of that, when you're living so strictly from your ego, you're blaming other people, you're making excuses, you're procrastinating, you're making everything else the issue, whether it's your life circumstance or your boss or your friends or your family or your trauma or the things you grew up with or how you grew up. You sit there and you make excuses. And like, I'm not calling you out. We all do it. I did it. You do it. We all do it. That's part of what makes us human. But part of waking up is sitting with yourself and saying, hey, that is something that happened to me, but I don't need to keep reliving that cycle. I don't need to keep having the same reaction that's going to bring me the same results. And that heightened self-awareness, I'm just going to be straight up with y'all. It is so annoying. It is so annoying to not be able to sit in my own brain and be like, well, this is their fault, and if they didn't do this, I wouldn't feel like this. That's not how it works. There's no part of my brain anymore that can accept that as truth. Like, I sit there and I'm like, hey, they're not making you feel anything. You're feeling this as a result of what you have taught yourself is your truth. You are feeling this way because you are perceiving this in a way that's triggering your trauma, and that's making you lash out and react. If you chose to observe your thoughts rather than react to them, maybe we wouldn't be in this cycle anymore. And so it comes to the same point of like when people hurt you. There are some people in my life that I wish that this rule of awareness did not apply to. But when I look at someone who has hurt me or caused me harm or has betrayed my boundaries, I don't look at it as like they hurt me. I look at it as like, this is how they reacted as a result of what they have gone through. And they did this because they are wounded and they also have trauma that they have not worked with. And as a result of that, they are projecting this onto me. This has nothing to do with me. How they're treating me has entirely to do with them. And when you do that, when you like are compassionate to the person who has caused you harm, it is so like, it's liberating because you're like, okay, I can't take anything personally. They're doing this because of the things they've gone through. It literally has nothing to do with me. I was just the unfortunate soul on the receiving end of this exchange, in which I am only receiving this exchange because there is a part of me that believes that I get to be treated like this. Number 4. Okay. Number 4 for us is going to be deciding against what you thought you wanted. So I'm going to use myself as an example. When I first took the plunge to like really jump in there and work on my stuff, I was like, okay, I want to do YouTube. And I want to do YouTube because I had an intrinsic thought that like, if I was rich and I was successful and I was popular and I had notoriety, that I would be happy. And that would be all I needed. And truly, that is the last thing that my introverted self needed, okay? But my inner self and my wounded child was like, we just need someone to listen to us. We just need someone to care about what we have to say. Maybe if we had all this success and all this notoriety and all this fame, and maybe if we became very successful with YouTube and we were rich, then like everybody would want to listen to us and we would be seen and we would be heard, and that would be enough and we would be happy. And truly, that's not really what I want. Like, of course, I approach things now with the perspective of like, if it resonates with a whole bunch of people, that's fantastic. If it resonates with one person and I do something else, my full-time job forever, that's fine. I'm going to end up where I need to be regardless of anything else going on. And I'm not really craving that fame and notoriety anymore. Like, yes, I care about how many people are enjoying my videos and the engagement. Like, of course I care about what you guys have to say. Of course I'm grateful when you subscribe to my channel. Of course I'm grateful when you support me. But I don't need that anymore to feel seen, because I can give that to myself. And that was so freeing. It feels so different now to like be like, yeah, I don't really need the whole world knowing who I am. The next one would be constant triggers, and by that I mean old memories, thought processes, embarrassing things, and that kind of ties into like honoring yourself. So we've all experienced things in our life in which we've felt embarrassed or uncomfortable, or like people judged us, or people for this or that or that. And truly, these triggers that are coming up for you, they're going to be constant once you start to work on yourself, because that's like your inner child being like, I did this and everybody's judging me. But like, everyone's not judging you. Like, that's not what's happening. You're judging you. You are shaming yourself for the limitations and the constructs and everything that you've placed on yourself. That is not from other people, that is from you. And so once you kind of tie in the fact of like, your internal reality mirrors and creates your external reality, anybody who you think is judging you or is speaking negatively about you, that is just a reflection of what you're doing to yourself and what you're doing to your little you. When you get that feeling, like when you remember something and you're like, ew, that's like gross, like why would I do that? That's like your inner child is reliving that memory and you're just like shaming yourself. And those old triggers are coming up for you to observe them, not react to them. And you need to be like, hey, yeah, we did that, but you know what? Like, you were a child. Like, I do that so much when old memories come up. I'm like, you were a child. You had every right to make that mistake or make that decision. You didn't know any better. There's no one here to shame you. I'm with you. I support you. We need to sit with ourselves and be like, no, like, I support you and I'm with you. And regardless of anything, I love you. And that's enough. You don't need to explain yourself. You do not need to explain yourself to yourself. You do not need to relive those cycles. You can observe them and be kind to yourself and be gentle with yourself and just support yourself, because that's what the little you needs. It doesn't need any more judgment. It's fearful that that's what it's going to continue to get. And you have the opportunity to turn that cycle off. And so that's number 5. And number 5 really ties into number 6, which is ego death. So kind of in regards to the triggers and honoring yourself and your hyper awareness, when you start to work on your shit, your ego is going to be so angry. Your ego is going to be like, what the heck? This is how we always were. This is what's safe. This is what's comfortable. Stay like this. Do not do this. Do not do this. And that's why when you have this great ideas to like go journal or something, when you're sitting there, you're like, oh my God, this is so silly. That's not you. That's your ego trying to keep you in the same spot you are, because your ego's job is to keep you safe. But the ego's definition of keeping you safe is keeping you where you are. And for you to evolve and change and become the best version of yourself, you need to keep pushing past where you are. And so you can't just like be like, okay, yeah, this is silly, I'm not gonna do it. I have so many people in my life that are like, I can't journal, like, it's so silly and like whatever. That's your ego keeping you stagnant. And it's such a debilitating feeling until you get past it, right? And so removing the self-judgment is the only way that you're going to really embrace that ego death. You're gonna have to accept that that old part of you is gonna have to die. Yeah, journaling might be embarrassing, and doing your shadow work might be awkward, and journaling about your feelings might be really uncomfortable, and honoring yourself might be really uncomfortable. But it has to be in order for you to get better and to move forward. You will be 12 times ahead of all of the people who are choosing to make excuses and not move forward because they want to blame everyone else for where they are. And those people are going to look at you when you're 3 years down the road and they're going to be like, how did you do it? And you're going to be like, well, I did it because I accepted the fact that it wasn't going to be comfortable. And comfortability is where your potential dies, because you choose to stay the same. And you can't stay the same and get to where you want to be. You need to push and become that version of yourself that's living that life. If you want to be a millionaire, you need to put the work in to become that person who is living that life. You need to believe in yourself first. And that is really going to push you to the next level. But in turn, the old you is going to die. The ego you is going to die. And it's not comfortable. You're releasing a part of yourself that no longer positively serves you. And it's never comfortable, but it is worth it. In every capacity, it is so worth it. And you're never going to be completely done. There's always going to be stuff from your past. There's always going to be things that come up that you didn't even know existed that are going to trigger you. And you're going to have to keep working through that ego. And you're going to have to keep pushing yourself forward. All right, so number 7, it's kind of taking it full circle here. So number 7 is seeing everyone as an extension of you. So I believe personally that us as a collective, we're all connected in some way or another. And we all are experiencing this life, and we all agreed to come here and experience joy and sorrow and pain and happiness and all of the things. We came to experience life. We came as the universe to forget who we are and experience a life as a human. And as a result of that, we are all connected because we all come from the same place. We're all the same being. We're all divine consciousness and living a temporary human experience. We all are the universe experiencing a human. And so I think that the powers at be right now, they work really, really hard to keep us separated, to keep us ostracized from one another, to keep us really back to back, separated. There's no connection because we're stronger when we're connected. We're more in line with who we truly are when we're connected. And it sounds really deep in conspiracy, but in all honesty, we are connected in every way, which mainstream media doesn't talk about, because if everyone on the planet knew how powerful they were, we wouldn't be able to be controlled anymore. When we all choose to accept the fact that we're connected, then we don't look at each other as like, I am me and you are you. It's like, we are one, and I need to be kind to you, and you need to be kind to me, because we are one of the same. We all deserve love, we all deserve kindness, we all deserve happiness, we all deserve respect, and we all deserve to feel like the best version of ourselves. We all deserve to be that best version. We all deserve to accept that we are connected. And when you look at it like that, there's no one that's hurting you. You're all just experiencing each other as an extension of one another. And I don't really know how to properly put what I'm trying to say into words. But what I will say is we are waking up faster and stronger than ever before. We are all slowly awakening to our truth. And the more we do that, the more that we have the ability to raise the vibration of the planet that we're living on, of Earth. And when you do that, we annihilate things that they use to control us and make us feel helpless and powerless. And when we are accepting that we're connected and we're all of the same, we're so powerful. So that's what I will say there. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it helps you along if you're starting your spiritual journey and you're like, what is happening? Everyone's going to experience it a little bit differently. So I'm here to support you. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. My DMs are always open. Or feel free to leave me a comment down below. I always try to respond to those. And yeah. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you would like to subscribe and join our ever-growing little family, I would love to have you. It is so exciting that we are growing so quickly, and yeah, I'm super excited. So with that being said, thank you so much for hanging out. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And if this was my first and only time seeing you, it was so lovely to hang out with you. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope that your healing journey goes well. And like I said, if you ever need anything from me, feel free to stop on by. We are always going to be here, and I'm always here to answer your questions. I love you guys so much. Thank you. And I will see you guys next week for a whole new video.